Hey, what's going on, everybody? What I figured I would talk about today is, where do you find last minute help? If you've got jobs that maybe you've got overbooked or you had call outs, whatever situation it is, where do you find last minute labor? With drivers, that's obviously a lot more difficult, right? Because there's generally fewer of them. But as far as labor help and just needing like lumpers, helpers, packers, what are just some really good ways to get last minute help, like less than 24 hours or less than 12 hours, less than 3 hours? Where do I find some of these people? The first thing I think about is every time that you interview people and they're, whether you hire them or not, you should discern whether that's somebody that could go onto a list of people that could be part of your call roll. So these are people that are kind of this C team or whatever, and they're people that I'll call when I'm in a pinch. And they may not be like a long-term employee of mine, but it's a body, it's a person. So you should always just be building this giant list. The way that you're going to build that list is one, again, people that are coming in for interviews, people that have worked for you in the past. Think about also these Facebook groups that have tons and tons of labor people that are always commenting and stuff, just building a list from that as well. You want to have that, I call it a blacklist. You want to have your own blacklist, and it has people's name, phone number, email, and where they're located. That blacklist can be people that are right there in your local area, but it also could be in like different cities, right? If you do like some long hauls, you do some interstate stuff, I want to be able to have like 10 or 15 people's phone numbers that I could text, call, or maybe even email them, but primarily text and call to get them to help unload or load for a job that might be hours away from my local area. When we're thinking about how do we get people last minute, that's generally, in the beginning, it's hard. In the beginning, you don't have this big list of contacts. So I would just be super conscious about having, and it can be basic. You can just have a Google Sheet or an Excel, and your goal should be to add names and numbers to that every week. If you're not adding names and numbers to your recruiting database, then you're really, not doing yourself right, because the more contacts you have, the more likely that you'll be able to get somebody out there. Now, this is the worst case scenario stuff, right? You want your core group. They're people that are scheduled on your jobs regularly. They're going out servicing moves. They're part of your internal team. That's who you want going on the jobs. But there's times when, especially during peak season, you get busy, right? You get in a pinch. You need somebody. So I think having, a spreadsheet where you've got that person, their name, phone number, email, and then maybe, you could be as detailed as you want, but even have like, especially for some of this contract labor, like what's their daily rate or what's their hourly rate of pay in order to get that person to come out. Because there's some people, they'll be like, hey, I'm not leaving my house unless it's $20-25 an hour or something like that. That's stuff you want to know. Like, there's no point in calling them if it's something little and they're not going to go do it. So major key is if you do not have some kind of database, a recruiting database, you gotta start making one. And I think what is really valuable is whoever's dispatching, whoever's job that is in your company, whether it's an ops manager, whether it's you, a dispatcher, whoever, make that like one of their systems and one of their responsibilities to be adding names and numbers to the recruiting database. Once you start getting that database bigger, the next system that you want to roll into is not just having the big Excel sheet or the big Google sheet. Is you want to be able to download that as a CSV file, upload it into a software that can do, mass text messages or mass outbound email. So that way you're not sitting there manually texting 50 people trying to see if somebody wants to work tomorrow morning. I can put it into the system. I can click all the people that I want and then shoot a message to all 50 or all 100 or whatever. And then people start texting back saying, yeah, I'm down. You're like, yeah, I'll come. So I think that's ultimately kind of what you want as that backup reserve. Again, this is not like your core group. All right, folks. Well, that's it. That's all I've got. Have a great rest of the day.